Everybody, JC here with another TNI toy review, and today's review is in association with JediInsider.com, your #1 news source for everything Star Wars. And for today, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming Star Wars Rogue One 3¼ inch scale Rebel U-Wing fighter with Captain Cassian Andor figure. Now this is a vehicle from Hasbro, and this comes in a pretty large box. This box measures, it's just about 16.5 inches in length, and then the height is about 14 inches. And this box is the new style of Rogue One packaging that we're going to see with all the product this year. You've got the Star Wars Rogue One logo up in the top right corner, and you've got an image of one of the Death Troopers and some AT-ATs and some TIE fighters. And then you've got artwork of the vehicle. The vehicle's in a battle with the Empire. You've got some TIE strikers following it and shooting at it, and you see an AT-AT in the background. So pretty cool artwork for the vehicle. And then you've got a picture of the actual toy showing one of the features, the wing, how the wings expand. You've got the Nerf logo down below because there is a Nerf gun attached to the vehicle, and then you've got the figure clearly displayed in the bottom left corner. On the side of the packaging, on one side we have some artwork for Andor, and then on the other side we have some details about a new app that Hasbro's doing to make their toys more interactive, electronic interactive. It's called the Studio FX app, and basically you download it and it allows you to make videos with your toys. And then on the back of the packaging we've got a brief bio in multiple languages. You've got to look at the actual ship, and then it shows off the various features and everything. And then down at the bottom we've got to look at some other toys that are being released this year. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the contents once you take it out of the box. There is some minor assembly required. Okay, and then here's a look at the vehicle fully assembled. So I went on and put this together off camera because I wanted to take a look at it before we actually started filming. And it's pretty hard to take the pieces apart once you snap them in, so I don't want to try and take it apart to show you how to put it together. It is pretty simple. You just basically snap in these engine pieces and slide in these wing pieces. They just kind of slide in here and clip in. So it's not anything major. And they do provide some instruction sheets on how to put this thing together. So again, it's not anything terribly difficult. It'll just take you a couple minutes to do. They also give you an instruction sheet for that interactive app I told you about. I don't think it's live yet, but you know, by the 30th, Force Friday, when these are released, this should be available. Before we start taking a look at the actual vehicle, let's first take a look at the action figure that comes with it, Captain Andor. I believe this is going to be a pretty major character in the movie, and I'm sure there's going to be various figures released over time. I know there's at least 2 that are being released on single card, so definitely we're going to see probably a lot of different variations of this guy. This guy definitely has a Han Solo feel to him with the leather jacket and the white shirt and everything. I don't know if that's how they're kind of molding the character, but that's from just looking at him with this figure, that's what he reminds me of, is a Han Solo type character. And he comes with a blaster. That's the only accessory that he comes with, and it's done with just a plastic gray, and you've got some pretty decent sculpting detail on it, and he can hold it in both hands nice and tight. And then he also has a working holster, and you can fit the gun in there nice and tight. There's a little hole for the barrel of the gun to slip into, so it holds in there nice and tight. It does stick out a little bit, but again, you don't have to worry about it falling out or anything. The overall figure looks good. My only complaint is the paint on the eyes is definitely off. They messed that up a little bit, but otherwise I think it's a pretty solid looking figure. I like the little bit of scruff he has here on the side with his beard and everything. I like the way the hair is sculpted. He's got this light brown stripe that goes down the side of his arms, which looks good, and definitely looks like he's wearing a leather jacket, and he's got that kind of cream shirt, again very similar to Han Solo underneath there. He's got just beige pants, and you've got a pocket sculpted here on one side. You've got the working holster. I also like here on the holster on the back, you can see it looks like he's got some ammo clips or something here on the back, so that's a nice little detailing. And again, you've got some sculpting to give it that leather look on the jacket. Basic paint applications, but again, other than the eyes, I think it's pretty solid. And then he's got the brown boot. Now, as we saw last year with the Force Awakens toys, this figure only has 5 basic points of articulation. Now, I know some of you don't mind that. For me personally, I definitely would like to see more articulation on these figures. I know that's not going to happen because of cost, but definitely I do miss the greater articulation points like elbow joints and things like that. As it is though, the figure, you can turn the head left and right. You can actually turn it all the way around if you want. You can rotate the arms all the way around, and then you can do the leg forward and back, and that's it. The figure stands just about 3¼ inches exactly. Here's a comparison with an older Empire Strikes Back Han Solo figure. And then here's a comparison with some other older Star Wars Rebel-based characters. So moving on to the vehicle, I like the look of this vehicle. It definitely kind of has a feel of the old Buck Rogers TV series Starfighters. Also, you can see some characteristics like with the engines of the X-Wing fighter. So I like the look of it. It's definitely unique enough that it has a new feel to it. It's not just a rehash of an old Star Wars vehicle. So I like that. Also, it seems to be pretty well made. It's done primarily with just this kind of off-white plastic, and then you have some paint with these blue stripings throughout, and you've got some scratch marks and stuff to give it that kind of worn look on the blue. So I like that. And then you've got some yellow and some gray paneling on the top side. The back of the engines are done with gray plastic, and then on the bottom you've got this black on the front. This panel is black, and on the side here, I don't know if that's supposed to be windows or something, but you've got that. The back of the ship definitely kind of has a feel of an X-Wing fighter with the engines, and you've got this paneling, this ridged paneling on the back as well, which kind of looks like a snowspeeder. This also seems to have some characteristics to me of the snowspeeder. You've got some sculpting detail on the back here, and this is a slide switch for one of the features, which I'll show you. This is also a button for one of the features. And then you've got the cannons on the front. These are done with a flexible plastic. So mine came out pretty straight, but if you're not careful, you can bend these, so just watch it. And then on the front, again, you have some paneling here, some ridge paneling on the front. I don't know for sure, but I do think in the movie this vehicle is supposed to hold more than one figure, so scale might not be completely accurate. You've got this elastic rope down here towards the bottom, so it'll hold the figure in place. Basically, you just kind of slide the figure's legs underneath that, so it'll stay in there nice and tight. You don't have to worry about him falling out even when the canopy's open. Also, you'll notice this little hole here they've included so you can store Andor's weapon. I don't know, it's not necessarily needed since you could just keep it in his working holster, but again, they've given you a place to put his weapon there. And if you were wondering if older Star Wars figures will fit in the cockpit, they do. Here's one of the bigger figures, an older Jake Porkins figure, and you can see he fits in there nice, and you can close the canopy without any problem. Now, as far as the features go, first of all, you've got working landing gear. So you've got the landing gear, 2 on the back, and you can just pull out. And the 2 on the back are basically on the engines. And then you've got 2 up here towards the front of the ship. So that's pretty nice. So it's nice and stable when you put the landing gear out. And then, of course, you can fold them back in. You also have the Nerf gun, which I told you about, and it comes with 2 different Nerf darts, 2 red ones, and when you're not using them, you can store them. It's got these little loopholes here, so you can just slide in the Nerf darts to store them. And then the cannon I like is because you can push it up in the ship, so it's when you're not using it, it's not noticeable. So I know a lot of adult collectors don't really like the Nerf cannon, so it's hidden. So I do like that. Now to deploy it, what you do is you just push this button on the top, and it pops down like that. And then you can slide one of your Nerf darts. It only holds 1 Nerf dart at a time, and then you just push it in. And then to fire the Nerf dart, you again just hit this button on the top, and it fires pretty far. Now the final feature that this vehicle has is you can deploy these side wings. So first of all, when the wings are not deployed, the length of this thing is about 21 inches, maybe just a little hair over 21 inches. So what you do is you take this little slide switch and you just push it forward and it deploys the wings. You can do it kind of halfway so the wings are straight out, or you can have the wings kind of forward like that, or you can have them go all the way back. And you can see the wingspan on this thing is pretty wide. Now the wingspan when the wings are fully deployed outward is about 36 inches. And when you have the wings fully back, the length of this thing is about 26 inches. Now here's a size comparison with the new TIE Striker vehicle, which I'll be looking at later this week. Here's a comparison with the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon that was released last year. And then finally, here's a comparison with the Force Awakens X-Wing Fighter, which was also released last year. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like this vehicle. I like the look and design of it. I think it's pretty well made, more so than what we saw from Hasbro last year with their Force Awakens vehicles. I like the features on it. I like the wingspan. I like the working landing gear. I think the Nerf gun feature is something that kids will find fun, and I like the fact that you can conceal it so it doesn't ruin the look of the vehicle. The scale might be a little bit off. I do think it's supposed to hold more than one figure or one character, but as it is, that doesn't bother me too much. So this vehicle is slated to be released on September 30th, which is Force Friday. Retailers started taking pre-orders for it now, so you can pre-order it from someplace like Big Bad Toy Store. It is going to be a little bit on the pricey side. This vehicle is going to cost about $50. We'll have a full image gallery up at JediInsider.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook and or Twitter pages. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.